Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive, fatal neuromuscular disease. More than 5,000 people are diagnosed yearly with ALS. The incidence of ALS is 7 times higher than Huntington's disease and about equal to multiple sclerosis. The life expectancy of an ALS patient averages 2 to 5 years after diagnosis. Most cases are sporadic, meaning ALS can strike anyone. About 5 to 10% of cases are hereditary. ALS is characterized by a degeneration of motor nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord, leading to muscle weakness. And as the disease progresses, total paralysis and the inability to speak and swallow. The mind and senses remain intact and unaffected. Although identified in 1869, the cause and cure of ALS remains unknown.
I was just looking outside at the ocean, and I was wondering what it must feel like to actually see that for the very last time. It would be very difficult for me to put myself into someone's position that has ALS and to think that is the last time I will see that ocean. My name's Ron Hoffman. I was Gordon Heald's caregiver. The Gordon Heald Fund was established about a month prior to Gordon's death. We assist ALS patients and their caregivers with numerous quality of life issues from A to Z. Our purpose is to alleviate the pain and suffering and the hardships that the ALS families go through. When you view this, more than likely, several, if not all, of the people that you're about to see will no longer be with us. They live their lives on a day-to-day basis. They don't know if they wake up the next morning, if they'll be able to swallow, or if their arm will be able to move any more or any less than it did the day before. The saga of ALS is that nothing's for certain, and you have no idea how much time you have. I ask you, as the people who you'll be watching ask you, please don't look away, because these will be the most beautiful stories that you'll ever see.
Okay.
In the diagnosis of the illness, which was just about 1.5 years ago, at that time I was still relatively functional. I could still walk down the street and brush my own teeth. But in the 15 months since that diagnosis, I've gradually lost everything. I mean, I'm in the wheelchair full time. I can stand to transfer, but that's all. I either have to be sitting down, supported, or lying down. So my legs basically don't work much at all. My arms, I can't lift. I can still use my hands a little bit, but I can't get my arms to, raise up so that I can grab onto anything. Even in bed, I can't turn. Somebody has to move me or roll me to a new position.
We see changes in our situation every week, so everything keeps getting stepped up. My husband's needs get more complicated and more time-consuming, and it's a challenge every week to figure out new strategies to cope. I'm having a hard time right now because he needs me pretty much 24 hours a day, and I have 2 small children, and they need me too. And I try very hard to meet everybody's needs, and I feel like some days I don't do such a great job of keeping everybody happy. It's very difficult. My life has changed dramatically. I feel like I used to have a life as an individual where I'm an artist. I used to paint full-time. I also write, and I did some writing. I'm working on a couple of books. All of that has had to stop. I don't have time for that. It's been a readjustment, a big, huge change in my life. Becoming a caregiver, I learn every day more how to do that, and I pray every night for the strength to do it with more grace and more compassion and more generosity.
It completely undermines the reality that is your life, I guess the dreams that you have pretty much evaporate. And you know, in my case, I have young children, and that, you know, compromises my ability to sort of successfully play that role as a parent. So, you know, I can't imagine anything too much more devastating.
One of the things he really hates about having ALS is not being able to be a good parent, or like be a good dad. Like, I mean, he's a great dad, but he just can't do some of the things that other dads can do.
They understand that their father has a very serious illness, although it's probably more than they can really absorb. It's mostly more than I can absorb, more than we can absorb as adults. Every once in a while I see this look of shock in their eyes when they realize we've come to some new stage of the illness, when they see their father being carried, when they see him not able to brush his own hair, or any of the tiny little things, not able to feed himself. I see pain, and I see shock, and I see recognition that this is very big and very scary.
I feel that he will get better soon, and someday he will get better. He'll stop getting worse. Something will change a little bit. Might not ever be as strong as he used to be, but he'll be able to, at least be able to stand up.
I spend literally every waking hour trying to cope with my environment and trying to cope with the conditions that surround me, the different insurance companies, my healthcare insurance, my doctors, my disability insurance, etc. And in an effort to cope with that environment, you know, I was fortunate enough to come across the Healed Fund, and they have just been fabulous, because for me to get equipment, first of all, out of my insurance agency, most of the time is impossible. Occasionally, if I fight a valiant battle that goes on for months, I can get the resources that I need. In this case, I was fortunate to run into the Healed Fund and was able to get, first, I think, a wheelchair. They've provided a ramp so I could get into my house and get out of my house, and therefore not be totally housebound. They've provided me with a shower chair that enables me to safely get from the bed into a shower every day. And they've provided me with a stair chair. My bedroom's on the second floor, and the only way I get up those stairs is because there's an automatic chair that takes me from this floor to that. Not much on speed, but it gets me there safely. Without them, my life would be much more miserable and much more challenging than it is right now. It's tough enough as it is.
It's more than a family can bear, and this is what's needed, is someone to help with the day-to-day, how do you cope, how do you live with this kind of devastation and loss that is ongoing. You think you have it 1 week and you're going along and life seems manageable, and all of a sudden the illness changes and you have needs you didn't anticipate. And that's why you need somebody who's there saying, here's how you go this next step. Here's how you can carry on. Because you reach a point where you don't know how you can carry on.
in November of 99, my wife left me, and we are divorced, and my middle daughter, Tina, lives here with me. Rihanna is the baby, and she's had to grow up with the disease, and my dilemma is watching the frustration, watching a 12-year-old watch her father have to go through the dying.
So you can stand when you go to the bathroom,
Yeah,
but you can't take a step.
no,
Okay, your right hand, which you use on the wheelchair,
Right.
you can use on the toggle,
Yeah.
correct?
right,
How about your left hand?
no.
Okay.
That's emotionally frustrating.
Emotionally frustrating?
Yeah, because I went from a strong guy to I'm now nothing.
When I first met you, you came home from school and did what?
I had to keep helping them do stuff, like whether it's on the computer or going to the bathroom or something.
Put anyone in a house that can't do anything, that needs everyone else to do things for you, regardless of what disease you would have. And I think the thing you have to have is the ability to talk to people. And not a lot of people want to talk about it. You know, they're not comfortable saying, you know, how does it feel to be dying? You don't feel good today, are you afraid? And given the question asked, Steve is very honest and puts it out there.
I don't believe God wants me alive on a machine. When it's time, it's his time. I don't want to live in a bed. I want to be productive. I want to be able to work the computer.
I think it is such a hideous disease. It is so devastating. It's so you go from normal life to you can't do the basic functions that we don't even think about, let alone the care it takes. The fact that it's all bodily and your brain is working at 100%. You're on the edge.
I'm always on the edge.
You're okay then?
Yeah. Flip.
Yeah. Okay. Chair.
Oh my.
Yeah, hold on. Get the chair out of the way. You gonna push?
Yeah. Okay.
Your feet are freezing.
Yeah. And
How long have you had ALS?
Almost 3 years. I've been diagnosed in August of '98. I was diagnosed. So that's pretty long to me, because I was given 2 to 3 years.
You were given 2 to 3 years?
Right.
When she was diagnosed with this disease, she was 61, I was 63, and the plans we had that we were going to retire very shortly and enjoy our retirement life. But as this disease progressed, eventually I had to just completely stop working. And I had made up my mind
Take a pill, huh?
that I would take care of Pat. I made up my mind, and I told her I would never put her in a nursing home. I told her that I would take care of it. And I'm not a very emotional person, and I have been. But it's very difficult to see somebody you love go through this, that you have to do everything for her. She can't do it no more for herself. To do something for her, it could be every 5 minutes, could be every 20 minutes or 10 minutes. I do it. Even though I'm tired a lot of times, you know, especially at nighttime after being all day, but you do it, you know, whether it's to make her more comfortable with the pillows or turn her over on the side or give her some medication, you do it.
When she was diagnosed, the doctor said she had motor neuron disease, and he basically sort of washed his hands and said, you know, that's it, and be on your way kind of thing. The frustrating part is trying to plod your way through the healthcare issues. Where can you get help from? You know, how do you get into Medicaid, Medicare? What agencies do we talk to?
My mother really wanted to stay in her own home. Now we're trying to find out figure out how we can do that. We've called numerous organizations, doctors, and we just can never get anywhere.
One of the biggest issues for us as a family was to allow Mom to maintain her dignity. And she's certainly been able to do that. And having her to, you know, you helping us with the deck and the walkway allowed her to stay here. That helped allow her to stay here. All of the, you know, her being able to take a bath, take a shower, you know, the special wheelchairs, all these things helped her to stay in her house throughout the course of the disease. You know, she's my mom. We've personally, we've always been very close. She was a great mom. You know, she was always there for me, and this is a huge thing. I mean, I'm 40 years old. As far as I'm concerned, she's still very young. I wasn't ready to let her go yet. She's only 64 years old.
The story of this household is lots is what? Is less about me and more about my wife. To try to communicate with Ken is getting harder and harder as the muscles in his face atrophy. And it's frustrating for him, it's frustrating for me, especially when I'm tired, and I'm tired a lot. And to read Ken's lips is the only way that we can communicate. If he wants me, he has to click with his tongue. One thing you have to get used to is that you can't do anything for yourself. And R-I-S R-I-S-A-N, I'm not doing well with this word. Risk. Okay. And you risk losing the risk of losing your life, love of those around you. I've had to take care of Ken since he's been on the ventilator for 5 years. And it's a 24-hour job. Everything falls on my shoulders. And I don't get a lot of sleep. I sleep with a baby monitor. When Ken wants me, I have to get up. It doesn't matter if it's 3 in the morning. And then I have to get up and go to work. I have his evening care, and I have the dinner, and I have to do the laundry and take care of the house and pay the bills and take care of the car and make all the necessary phone calls and make sure the prescriptions are filled on time and his supplies and everything. There isn't anything that I wouldn't do for him. But physically, there's only so much that a person can do. This is saline. This is sterile. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I keep going and going and going and going, and with no breaks. And it doesn't matter if I'm tired when I get home from work. I have a job to do. Most people, when they don't feel well, they stay home from work. I can't do that because I need the money. I go to work. When I'm sick, it doesn't matter. I still have to take care of Ken. My needs come second. When you're the primary caregiver, your needs don't count. They come second. And it's physically draining. And also emotionally. As far as a support system, I don't really have a support system here. And if it weren't for the Gordon Heald Fund, I wouldn't be able to get the therapy that I need, as well as pay for some of my medications because I don't have health insurance. Physically, it takes a toll on your body too. Ken is a big guy, and he needs to get turned 3 times a day and boosted in bed. Getting him in and out of the wheelchair and out onto the ramp in the summertime, it takes a lot to, the wheelchair is 300 pounds, and then Ken in it. To pull him around in that, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And there are many days I don't think I can do it, and there are many times when I'm so tired that I say, Ken, I can't do this anymore. And a lot of days when I just don't know what I'm going to do because I don't have the help that I need. I don't have the family around. There's nobody for me to just say, okay, call up and say, could you come over, because I can't stand to be here another minute. So in a lot of ways I feel trapped. And being able to have some of these, the therapy allows me some outlet, some release that I wouldn't be able to have otherwise.
Please help by sending your generous tax-deductible contributions to the Gordon T. Heald ALS Fund, Post Office Box 297, West Falmouth, Massachusetts 02574, or call 508-563-3677. Thank you.